Welcome everyone to Percussion CM1 version 2.0. In this video, we'll be demonstrating our new Blogs feature. Like all other features in CM1, Blogs is added to the product by a collection of widgets and gadgets. So let's get started. The first thing we'll need to do is add the blog gadget onto our screen. Next, in order for me to have the ability to create a blog, I'll have to create two templates, one for my blog list and the other for my blog post. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to add from an existing template that has the framework that I'm most interested in. And let's call this BV blog list. And we can go ahead and do the same thing and call this BV blog post. So let's navigate over to the Layout tab. Now, a blog list isn't a blog list until you have added the appropriate widget. So you might imagine we can remove this rich text widget and drag and drop the blog list widget. Now we can click on the configuration button. There are quite a few things you can control here. There are many parts to a blog, and you have control whether you want to make them visible or not, such as what kind of styling or semantic meaning you want to apply to your header, and for SEO purposes, date and format, and finally, how many blog posts you want to show per page. Now that wraps up creating a blog list. So let's set up our blog post now. And it's quite similar in the steps that we took to set up our blog list. So let's go ahead and do that. Navigate over to the Layout tab, remove the rich text widget, replace it with our blog post widget, and click on the configuration button. One of the features of blog is you can have navigation, which allows you to go to the previous or next post if there is one. And you can place this above, below, or in both positions. Now let's place this above the post. And we can associate a text to this as well, of either a hard-code old or newer post, or you can use the title of the blog itself, which can be a bit more interesting. And as you can see, we also have controls that are similar to the controls we had in our blog list widget. And now we can go ahead and save our changes because we have created the two templates that we need in order to start building our new blog. Next, we'll need to create a place to put the blog, and quite often it is at the blog section, and quite possibly it'll be at the top of your navigation. So for our example, I will add our blog to the top level. Now from here, I will navigate back to the dashboard. And as you can see, our blog gadget is here. And from now on, any user can come in here and create their own blog, and it'll navigate them to where they would like to put it. And you can put any blog in any section except for arbitrary folders. So now let's go ahead and name our blog. I will call this Kathy's Contentions. And as you're setting up your blog, you'll need to select a template for your main blog. And you'll need to set up a template for your post. You'll also see later how this information is used. And after I set up my blog, it will take me to my main blog list. And now I can navigate back to the dashboard And here we can drill down and see posts of this blog. And I'll keep this gadget open to each of the blogs that I'm interested in. And on this gadget, there's a create post function. So if we go ahead and create a new post, and save it, it will bring us to our post page, and right now it has our main blog post. And if we click on the blog post widget, I'll be able to create my new post, be able to enter a title for my post, and start typing up the contents of my post. I'll also be able to identify what I'm interested in my byline. Now let's add another new feature to our post, called the More link. What this new functionality provides is the opportunity to put part of the text that you want in summary, if you place the More link at the end of it. And wherever you may list, a summary of your blog will appear. Now let's go ahead and edit our metadata. And I'll click off the Auto Generate Summary box. And once I save my changes, it'll automatically pull that data to my first post. And before we go back to the dashboard, let's go ahead and publish our first post. And now that it's being sent out to my site, let's go back to the dashboard. Now let's create another post. Now, in order to make sure all of our blogs and posts are being shown on our site, we'll need to make sure our navigation is being published properly. Now we'll go ahead and republish our entire site. This should take about 10 seconds. And as we navigate back to the dashboard, we'll see our 2 posts and no comments as of yet, and we'll get to that in just a few moments. Now let's go back to our live site and click on the refresh. And as you can see, we have our new blog section, as well as our new blog, Kathy's Contentions. And as each new blog is added, you'll see it appear on the left. And in Kathy's blog, we have 2 posts, my first and my second post. And you might notice something right away. On our first blog post, we have a summary, but on our second, it appears to be missing. So let's go back and see why our summary is missing from our second post. So there are 2 things to be aware of when looking for a summary. First, did I enter the More link? And did I click off the Auto Generate? And as you can see, I did not click off the Auto Generate. So now I can go ahead and republish. And please note we're only publishing the blog post and not republishing the blog list, because all of our lists in CM1 are dynamic and the changes will be picked up automatically. And now, as you can see, our summary has now been picked up. And I can either click on the More link or on my post title, and it will take me directly to the post. Now, blogs are interesting by themselves, but they are much more interesting when you have a 2-way conversation going between you and your readers. So now let's go back and add some comments. In the previous video, we showed you how to add comments to any page, and they can be added to the blog in the same way. So now that we are in our design mode, we want to select Kathy's Contentions blog post, because if we made changes in our original blog post, our changes would not appear in Kathy's Contentions. In a real site, we would change them in both places, but for this example, we're only going to make the change in one place. So, if you watch the comments and ratings section of our CM1 2.0 overview, you can drag the comments widget in, and that will render the comments themselves. And if you drag the form widget in, that will allow your users to submit comments. And for purposes of this demonstration, we'll stick some rich text widgets in as delimiters. And we'll do the left of the controls just so you can see a different rendering. And now we'll go into the Content tab for the template. We'll go into our rich text widgets and add horizontal rules. Now we'll go into the comment form, and we'll get rid of everything except the comment box and email address. And we'll also edit the title of the comment box and just leave the word comment. Now this form is very similar to other forms in previous versions, and is just limited to a certain amount of fields. Now let's go ahead and add a text area in here. And let's type in, "Please join the conversation," to encourage our readers to post comments. We'll also adjust the sizing of our Word email to 300 pixels. And now that we have made these changes, we can either publish the whole site or publish each page individually. And in this instance, we'll publish one page for now. And now I can go to my page and click on refresh. And now I have the ability to post comments to my blogs page. And I can go ahead and click submit. And as you can see, I left my comment moderation on, and until an admin goes in and reviews all of the comments, these will not appear on the page. And if we return to our dashboard, there's actually a special way to handle comments, and that's in the blogs gadget. They also can be handled in the comments gadget as a generic page. So if I click here, you can see this is my comments moderation dialog, and see that my comment was rejected. So if I read it over and approve it, you can see that it doesn't say new anymore. New comments are comments that have not been reviewed yet. So if we go back to our live page, and click on refresh, you'll notice that I did not have to republish anything, because everything in CM1 is dynamic. And the final functionality I would like to show you regarding blogs is the archive widget. Now let's go back and check that out. So now if we open our blog list, and we can switch over to edit mode, we can drag and drop our archive widget. Now, our archive widget is similar to our tags and categories widget. It will basically group your blogs and pages by date, and there are two different layouts that it will provide. You can have them grouped by year, so you would have a year at the first level and a month at the second level, or you can have just a flat list of months. This is more useful if your blog is younger and doesn't have years of content. Now I'll need to tell it where to get its list from, and in this case I want to select all of Kathy's blog posts. Now, in our previous video called Tags and Categories, I demonstrated creating a results page. If you'd like to see how this works, please check out our Tags and Categories video. So let's give our search results page a title. So as you can see, it gives us two posts that were done in July 2011. Now let's go ahead and publish this page so we can see it in action. And here's our new archive list, and as you can see, these are the results for July 2011. This now concludes our video on Percussion CM1 version 2.0 featuring blogs. If you have further questions or comments, please feel free to post them to our user forum.